Hit that like button, hit that like button, hit that like button now. Hello all, this is Heathen Queen. And I am here to introduce you to This Is Your Dating Pool show. Here we highlight the bandits, the delusional females, and the all-around degeneracy. These people are out here mating, breeding, bringing children into the world with no care and concern for anything else. It's our job as a marital show to show you your choices. These are your people in your dating pool. Here we introduce Jenny.
How y'all watch me with no clothes on? How you watch me? You don't be cold? Where you live? What's your name, boo?
I'm Jenny.
Jenny, where you live,
North
Jenny?
Carolina.
So what's the weather in North Carolina? I want to know how y'all can be walking around your house with no clothes on and not be cold.
Well, because I have my heat on and I'm comfortable naked.
So you was completely naked?
No, I had a bra and some shorts on.
But that feels best for you?
Yes.
Okay, you just FaceTime people. This is a FaceTime over 5,000 people watching. But put the bra on. Put the FaceTime with your bra on.
I'm sorry. I'm a little different. I'm sorry.
Let me leave you alone. I really do, but I do want to understand the mindset. Because I'm like, how do you push a show that over 5,000 people and more will watch this if I make you a highlight with no clothes on? I would be nervous that if you get selected, they're going to see me bucky naked. That's what happened. Jenny, how old are you, honey?
I'm 34.
34. What you do for a living?
I'm a nurse.
Nurse. You have any kids?
I have a 2-year-old son.
Okay. Why you not with the dad?
I was a house. He wanted me to be a housewife when we first met, and I decided to kind of change and wanted a career, and he didn't want that for me, so he gave me an ultimatum, and it's to stay at home and be a housewife or leave and have a career. So I left.
Girl, we want to smack you in the face right now. So let me ask you this. Was he paying all the bills?
He was.
So, and when you guys got married, that was the plan?
Yes.
So basically, you had him, your husband. He was your husband?
Mm-hmm.
So he was your husband?
Yes.
You guys had a family?
Yes.
You agreed to be a stay-at-home
yes.
mom. What made you want to get a job?
See, I have to stop you right here. Not all women want to be stay-at-home wives. And once they get it, some women decide that's not what I want. So they try to work within the time frame. They try to work within the frame that you give them. He wants me to be a stay-at-home wife, and I can't be a stay-at-home wife. I thought I wanted that, but that's not what I wanted. Now, she said he gave her an ultimatum. And I say, what man who loves his wife gives her an ultimatum? Get out or be a stay-at-home wife. What man who loves his wife would do that? And I say, you agreed to be this stay-at-home wife. When you agreed to it, you didn't understand the extent of it. A lot of women ask to be the stay-at-home wife, but they don't know what that entails. They don't really care what that entails. It means you don't have to work. A lot of you simple women think that way. Stay-at-home wife is a job. It's the same as a job on the street, except you don't get paid for it like you want to get paid for it. Now, she decided she wanted to be a stay-at-home wife. I'm not knocking that. I'm not taking that away from him. He said, I want a stay-at-home wife. That's what I want. But here's the thing. Did he or did he not express exactly how he wanted his stay-at-home wife to be? The first thing he said was, I want a stay-at-home wife. I want you to go home, you stay at home and cook and clean, blah, blah, blah. And most women say, oh yeah, I want to do that. I want to do that. But once you figure out there's shit that come along with that, once you start thinking beyond being that wife at home, not working, once you start thinking beyond that. Any woman who has been educated, who wants to be educated, who wants to do good in the world, who wants to extend herself beyond just being a wife and a housewife and a helpmate, then she starts to think about what the hell this entails, the stay-at-home wife deal. A lot of women say that, but when that shit happen, that shit ain't how you want it. But then again, we don't know the extent of this housewife shit. We just keep going.
When I had to constantly ask for a couple of dollars to do stuff, when it was no, I can't do certain things that I wanted, when it was no, we don't have enough money to do activities because, one income. And I'm like, well, this is not the lifestyle that I want to live. Like, I just don't want to sit at home and fold clothes and not actually date and have the extra money to do stuff. Like, I just didn't want to fold clothes all day long. I'm sorry.
The reality is that most people don't make enough money for a wife to sit at home. He doesn't make enough money to have a wife that sits at home. See, and I don't blame her for this. I don't blame him for this. I don't blame him or her for this. Right? I blame the fact that neither one of you looked beyond getting this one particular thing, and you didn't think what it took for this to occur. First off, ma'am, let me say to you, the wife, you should have known that you weren't sit-at-home wife material. You should have known that you would get bored with ironing, cooking, cleaning, and that's all you had to do. You should have known that. See, I blame her for this part. Because you're not 20 years old. You're 30 years old. You said you and him, I don't know how long you guys been married, but you should have known what type of female you are. See, that's why I say people in their 20s should not get married. You should get married when you know who you are and what you want. I know I'm not the type of woman that sits at home and cooks and cleans and that's all you gonna want me to do. I can't do that. My soul would die if you had said I had to do that without being able to go outside the house and do this, that, and the third. I know me. I have to be a productive human being. So therefore, I know that I would not be somebody's wife that sits at home and that has to cook and clean and blah, blah, blah. She seems to be coming into herself and saying, I don't want that. Why didn't you know that? You didn't know that because you got involved with this person when you were in your 20s, didn't know whatever the fuck you wanted to know, didn't know that you were going to turn around and say, oh, hell no, I know my soul is going to die if I keep doing this. And so you found out in the middle of the marriage. So this is your fault. 1. Okay. Now, 2, I blame the husband. The husband. You knew that you didn't make enough money for extras in that household. You knew that. So why would you call a person or tell a woman that she couldn't work when in 2023 every human being needs to work and contribute to a household in order for that household to have a certain standard? There's no way you're going to sit at home and cook, clean, and that's all you do is cook, clean, iron clothes, and take care of kids, and a human being is going to be happy. You know, sir, as a man, that you would not be happy sitting at home, cooking, cleaning, doing this, that, and the third, and that's all you had to do. You would go bonkers. So why would you not know your wife enough to know that she would go bonkers just doing that? That's your fault. That's your fault because you don't have any discernment, because you didn't have any foresight into knowing what kind of woman that you married. Why didn't you know the type of woman you married? And when you found out the type of wife that you married, why was it so difficult for you to adapt and say, okay, I know we need money. I know we need extras in this house. She wants to get a job and she wants to be fulfilled. Her being fulfilled and her being a little happier makes me fulfilled and me a little bit happier. No, what did you do? You put your foot down and you gave her an ultimatum. See, that's not a marriage. You don't give ultimatums in marriage. That's not how marriage works. Every human being in a marriage has to grow, has to cultivate their interests, has to feed their soul. You have a job. You have an outside interest. You have inside interest that feeds your soul. Your wife didn't have anything to feed her soul, and yet and still you gave her an ultimatum and said, either feed your soul or stay in here and die. What kind of man would do that to his wife? I'm not saying you don't have any right to be angry because she changed her mind. You're perfectly correct. You do have some dismay. You do have a right to say, well, why didn't you know that at the beginning, wife? You all didn't know that because you were in your 20s and you didn't know yourself and she didn't know herself. It's called evolution, and she evolved beyond that 20-year-old that you introduced yourself to and wanted to marry. She evolved along that line. But see, most of this is her fault because she didn't know herself and she didn't get to know herself. But you know what? I got to give her props, because the minute she did know that this is what wasn't what she wanted or all that she wanted, she was out the door, right? And then now you're free to get that person that you want. Okay, let's keep going.
I understand why other people will like it and stuff like that, but after like 8 years, it just wasn't for me.
I mean, I understand. I think women should have their own coin to some degree, right? I guess, was there a conversation about maybe you going to work eventually? Wait, is your child by him?
Yes.
So when did you guys get divorced?
A year ago.
So you got divorced when your baby was 1?
Yes.
And when
well, my son is, he's going to be 3. He's going to be 3.
Got you. So do you guys co-parent well? We'll leave it at that. So I guess, why was it an ultimatum for you? Why didn't he want you to work at all?
He's just one of those alpha guys who just wanted to lead, wanted to be. He was just one of those type of men. And I, like in the beginning, it was cute, you know, like, okay. And then after a while, it's like, can I have $20? Like, I didn't have a credit card. I didn't have anything. It was like.
And he wasn't giving it to you?
All right, FYI, gentlemen, no woman likes to beg for money. No woman likes to beg. No human being likes to beg for money. None. And I get it. You were trying to control the finances, but you should have gave her a budget. You should have gave your wife a budget. Okay, you get $200 a week to spend on this, and this. You should have gave her a budget, and she should have been able to do whatever she needed to do to fulfill herself. See, not only did you tie her hands in what she could do, how she could do it, whether she could afford it or not. Just because you make the money doesn't mean she's not entitled to have something in order to sustain her personal progress or her personal being. I get it. You wanted to control the money, but you didn't make enough money to do that. You didn't make enough money to have a stay-at-home wife. In this day and age, you just didn't have enough money. So therefore, she couldn't have any money. And I get it. It's a budget. But that's where you messed up. You messed up this marriage. You helped to mess up this marriage.
But I didn't have like a credit card that you could just go to the bank when you wanted to?
It was a limit. It was a limit, and the limit was very low. Once again, and I understood why, but it just wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me.
Okay. This is interesting because I have so many women that are praying for that life. They come on the show, they want a provider, they don't want to work, and that's what they say. And I like to hear this version to the side of the story. Listen, I come from a career woman. Now I'm an entrepreneur. So I believe in having your own money personally. So I think the challenge becomes, when you get married, is what you agree to. But at the same time, you got to honor how you feel. And, I wish you guys could have figured out a way to work it out, but I guess you couldn't.
No.
Okay. Well, let's keep going. So Jenny, you became a nurse when?
See, this is when I ask, or this is when I'm curious about why couldn't you all work it out? If it was to the degree of him saying, okay, we need a little money, let her work and do what she got to do, but don't let anything else get neglected in the house, then we can do that. And then that elevates our family. Why couldn't there be a middle ground that you all couldn't find? I wonder, hopefully Kendra asks that question, because there has to be a middle ground somewhere. Otherwise, somebody's not wanting to compromise, and that's not a marriage.
So I was originally a medical assistant in California, and then we moved to North Carolina. And then when we first came out here, maybe about a month into it, we realized it was like a no-go. And then that's when I just started to do like all the programs and certificates and stuff like that. So I've been on it for about a few months now.
Okay, a few months now. Okay. What's your zodiac sign?
I'm an Aquarius. My birthday is February 7th.
Aquarius. All right. So this is Jenny, North Carolina, mom to a 2-year-old by her ex-husband. And you're officially divorced, correct?
Yes.
Okay. She's a nurse, 34, Aquarius. All right, Boo. What kind of man are you looking for now, honey?
Don't hate me for this, but I want somebody that's a little bit lit and turned up. My husband was boring. I know, don't judge me. Don't do that. He was super boring. We didn't dance. He didn't like music, like a little ratchet music. He didn't let me wear tight clothes or anything like that. So I kind of want...
All right. You two weren't right for each other, because you jumped into it thinking that, ooh, I'm going to be taken care of and I ain't got to work and I ain't got to do all that. And you thought it was just going to be one of those romantic things where he came home and he helped you take care of the kids and wash the clothes and swept the floor and did all of the things that a normal, progressive, evolved human being is going to do. But that's not what you married. And he thought you were happy to be that person in the kitchen washing clothes, spreading your legs, doing all you got to do 24/7 to be a wife and keep a happy home. That's what he thought. And both of y'all had the wrong idea. Did you ever talk? Did you all ever talk about how that looked? How does that kind of relationship look? First and foremost, the mistake you all made was thinking that he made enough money that he could afford to have a stay-at-home wife. That was the first thing you all made a mistake about. Second was the immaturity that came along with you, because you seem to be kind of immature because you're asking for the most extreme guy on the other end of the spectrum. Don't judge me, don't judge me, don't judge me. There's a middle ground. There's always a middle ground. You don't have to go straight for the pookie. You sounding like you want to go straight for the pookie, and now you giving all of us women who don't ever want to qualify as being one of those women who stay at home, you're giving all of us a bad rep. You're giving all of us a bad look. Because yes, we do want a man who will lead, who will take care of, who will do all those things. Most women do. But a lot of you women, and you women need to take this to heart, a lot of you women don't want to follow. You don't want to follow, and here's why. There's nothing wrong with following. There's nothing wrong with not wanting to follow. But a lot of you women don't want to follow. Why? Because the man doesn't know the difference between a simple female with a little bit of submission, him asking for a little bit of submission, and him being a caveman Neanderthal, dragging you by the hair into the kitchen and making you cook, and you being pregnant every 5 minutes. A lot of men don't know the difference. And your husband was one of those men who didn't know the difference, or who didn't care about the difference. That's the problem. And you didn't see it because you were too immature to see it before you accepted his proposal. You would have ran the other way. Because if you got bored with this marriage within 2 or 3 years, that means that you didn't do a lot of soul searching before you accepted that man's proposal. You didn't.
Be a little ratchet with my next dude. A little ratchet. I want him to be fun. I want to go out. I want to be the couple that where we laugh at the dinner table, we hug all night, kiss all night. You know, like just have fun. I didn't have that. I didn't have that affection in my last marriage. So that's what I want now.
My spirit is speaking so loud right now.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what my spirit is saying.
Go ahead.
So we caught sometimes good men be boring men, right? And when did you get married?
2020.
I'm sorry, how old was you when you got married?
I was, I'm 34. I was probably like, I think I was 30.
30, okay. So prior to that, did you date a lot?
Not really.
Not really. So you had this good ass man. Might have been boring, but a good man, married you, was your husband, took care of all the bills, probably wasn't that lit. Got divorced, now y'all here in the streets, and you about to meet these ratchets.
Let's hold on. Let's. I want to be clear about one thing. He was extremely controlling when it comes to like. So one of his rules was I can't have long hair because it reminds him of strippers. Another rule was he gave me a rule on how far I can drive away from the house. He also said no social media. He also said no tight clothes, no long nails. He gave me rules.
Whoa, let's back up. Let's wait a minute, hold on. This is a whole different level right here. This is a whole different level. See, now let's go back. Did you know that he wanted these requirements before you married him, or did he spring these requirements on you after you got married? Right? That's the question that we have. 2, what human being tries to control another human being in that manner? See, my mom told me a long time ago, there's people who are ill and they don't know they're ill. That particular human being I consider ill because there's no, wait a minute, was he religious? Let's look.
Okay, so now that you give me more context, I'm gonna take good man out because that's some crazy shit right there. That's some crazy shit right there. So hell no, can't nobody agree to any of that.
Right.
I had to fight to be friends with my best friend because he said I can't have any friends. I wasn't married, and I'm just like, that's crazy. Like he thinks everybody that's not married is just the wrong type of crowd to be with. I don't know. It was just
okay. Yeah, that's too controlling. What I was gonna say was sometimes women leave the good guys for these ratchet men, and the ratchet men can come with a lot of shit. You know, so the ratchet man, you might be kissing up on him, and then he might be kissing up on somebody else. Yeah. You want to be out here lit with it. But I will say, with more context of your ex-husband, no, I don't think anyone wants to be married to a person like that.
Right.
Okay. So I concur. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was just too controlling to me. When I say ratchet, I really mean that loosely, like in the sense of just someone more fun. That's it. Just more fun. Don't give me crazy rules. And just want to get to know each other. Like, love me for me. Like, that's what I meant. Like, I don't mean like I don't want to be naked on top of a table and you cheering me on. I don't want that. But I do want somebody that grabs my hand, let me get up, and let's dance in the middle of the floor. Like, let's enjoy life together. Okay. You know, that's it.
I understand that. Someone said, why did you get married? Was he controlling in the beginning?
I got married, honestly, to be honest, I was depressed and I was going through a lot. So he kind of like saved me from that. And I fell in love with that. When I stopped being depressed and I got on my feet and I want a career, and I wanted just to do something other than being a housewife, that was the biggest no-no. And we kept butting heads. It was times where he just didn't like it. He just did not like it. And he flat out told me.
Okay.
And it's just like, well, I gotta go.
Okay. All right, she gotta go. So we were in your requirements. Do you have any more requirements for me?
Okay, now you give a little bit more context to your relationship and your marriage. You two were just not meant for each other. Not the way that, a lot of people may want. I mean, this is, maybe he was an extremely religious person, or I don't know how he grew up. I don't get the whole trying to control females, trying to control what I wear and how and when. See, I would peep that kind of bullshit from jump and be like, no, 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 Heathen Queen don't do shit like that. I wear what the fuck I want, how I want, when I want. So if you don't like that, you need to move to the left, because Heathen Queen's right on time, right here on the right. So, but that's just me. Regardless of whether you're trying to show me the dream of what you think I want, okay, fine. Think I want. A lot of women don't understand there are men out here who are strictly like that, but that's not how the world is built or how it works. There's no way you would be, this is the problem. It's degrees to this shit, right? It's degrees to where you could say, okay, there might be 10 things that he don't like, and you don't do none of those. You don't do all 10. You may do 2. And you might think him telling me not to do those 2 is cool. And some women live with that. And I get it. You want to be taken care of and you want to do what you want to do, but you want to get along, compromise. But if you can't compromise and you know that it does something to your soul, in order for you to not do it, then I understand that you had to leave. I get all that. And some people may say, oh man, she had a good one. He probably is a good man, but not a good man for her. And I'd rather know that I'm not a good woman for you immediately than to find out 10, 15 years in when we got 50, 60, 70 kids. Right? You'd rather know right now that it ain't what it is. Right? And I'm not what you want. But see, therein also lies where people make mistakes. They don't tell people exactly what they want. They tell people exactly what people want to hear. There's no way that I would gravitate towards a man, and I know that I'm not going to be one of those people that get to cut my hair, or I can't wear weave, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. There's no way I would agree to be in a relationship with a man, and I know that I cannot not do certain things. I mean, because I know restricting a person who wants to do this, that's just rebelling. That's the argument. That's the mouth that men are going to hear, is when you try to restrict a female and you know that's not what she wants. She's going to buck heads with you. She's going to bump heads with you. You're going to have argument. You're going to have fuss and fighting when you get home. All of these things. It's very good, or it's extremely important for you to come out and say exactly how you want this person to be and what you require. Don't get involved with Heathen Queen and say, once we're involved and I'm in love with you and I want you and this, that, and the third, you turn around and say, well, Heathen Queen, I really don't like you wearing skirts. I didn't tell you in the beginning that I didn't want you to wear skirts. But now, now that you're in and you're in love with me, you're invested in this, that, and the third, I don't want you to wear short skirts anymore. Or high heels. See, that is deception to me. That is what she ran into. She understood what he wanted, but she didn't understand the degree in which he wanted. He gave her a list. The minute she got that list and she knew she couldn't fulfill those requirements, she should have said, I cannot fulfill these requirements. I'm giving you an ultimatum. I'm giving you, not an ultimatum, but I'm giving you the counterpoints to these rules that you're giving. You're telling me I can't wear long hair, that's a no-go because I like to wear weaves. You're telling me I can't wear makeup, that's a no-go because I always wear makeup. You're telling me I can't deal with my friends because they're single. That's a no-go. I've known my friends longer than you. That's a no-go. Somewhere along the way, she did not stand up for herself. She thought it was going to get better, and he gave her the ultimatum. It was what it was.
We go to your deal breakers.
I really don't. I really don't. Just like the basic what we all want, you know, nice teeth, dress, have your own swag, whatever that is. Oh, I like a guy that leads. I want you to lead. I want you to lead. Don't always tell me to make the dinner plans. Don't always, when we're walking, walk in front of me. You know, I like that sweet guy. That's it.
Okay. Let's do the Kendra Cam.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
See, she said it. Most women want a man who leads. Most women want a man to lead. They do. It's just that most of you men don't know the difference between that Neanderthal shit that her husband pulled on her and the regular submission, and it's voluntarily submitting to do that and making me make sure that you understand that I am a fully grown, functioning, contributing human being in this relationship, as opposed to being a doormat, you know. And this, you see, and this is what women see when a man says, "I want to lead," and you got to submit. This is what women see. When I hear the word submit, I think, motherfucker, you want me to suck your dick on the kitchen floor while your friends is in the front room laughing. That's how I feel when I hear somebody say, "Heathen Queen, you got to submit." No. I cannot do that because I don't trust you to have the forethought or the discernment to know how to do that balance between being simple submission requirement and being the Neanderthal that her husband is. Because that's Neanderthal behavior, telling me I can't wear clothes, I can't wear a skirt, I can't wear a wig, that's Neanderthal behavior. And most women aren't going to deal with that unless you're an idiot and you don't know yourself, because modern day women are not doing most of these things. Now, he had $1 billion, 9 times out of 10, she probably would do it. But she's going to go behind his back and cheat, or she's going to go behind his back and do something, or that relationship is not going to last that long.
I threw on a big t-shirt. Let me make sure my...
Okay. All right, we see you. Oh, you got a nice shape. Ooh, somebody gonna love that you like to be in the house naked.
Okay.
She said this earlier. She liked to walk around with no shirt on. So that was her.
Yeah, I know. It's a bad habit. I sleep asshole naked. I walk around with no clothes on.
Well, your man, I'm quite sure your man won't have a problem.
No.
I'm quite sure he won't. All right, so here we go. This is Jenny, North Carolina, 34. What's the age range you would date, honey?
Oh Jesus. I want to say 29 all the way up to like 45, 50.
29.
He look good. Nice body, but
okay, 29.
My ex-husband was 40.
Okay, do you want more kids?
How did you two just blow up? How did y'all end up blowing up a marriage? How did you read that relationship so wrong? You were older than her? 8, I'm assuming you're like 7 years older than her. How did you read her so wrong to think she would be willing to give up all of her worldly things? She got a tattoo, she got weave in her hair, she got long nails. What made you think that she wasn't a modern woman and she was... What were you thinking? It's a recipe. It was a recipe for disaster. And you're going to continue, the husband, I'm talking to the husband, you're going to continue to run into this disaster of female. Not because she's a bad female, it's because your expectations are not in line with the challenges of today. And you don't make enough money to do that. Because ain't no way she's supposed to be asking you for money. Ain't no way you got a limit on a credit card that she got to spend and do things with. Ain't no way. So that tells me your expectations are out of line with your reality. Her problem was she knew herself. She just wanted what you provided. And once she fully realized what you were willing to provide, she started bucking. And you all would butt heads about that. Rather sooner than later that you all get out of that relationship. But this is both of y'all's fault. This is not just her fault. This is both of you all's fault. Your expectations were fucked up. So was hers.
Don't hate me for this, but I said no to the first one. Love my son, but I said no to the first one. So I don't want any more kids. You can have kids. I can love them like they're mine.
She's saying she didn't want no kids, period. See, wait a minute, here's my thing. Why he didn't know? Why your husband didn't know that you didn't want no kids? And why did he proceed to try to force you to have a child when he knew you didn't want the first one? She just said she didn't want the first one. Why would you force a woman to have a child by you when she says she don't want to have a child? But she had a child because you forced her to have the child. Not forced, but she said she didn't want one, but you got her pregnant anyway. See, this was your fault too. Including her. It was her fault and your fault.
Okay. She don't want any more kids. Okay. When was your marriage your last relationship?
Yes.
Okay. You don't have to answer, but I'm gonna ask. When's the last time you was intimate with someone?
Like 3 weeks ago.
Who is this man?
I don't know. I think we both was just.
You don't know who the man was?
I know who he is, but I think we was just like. I think we fed off of our loneliness. Like, he was complaining that his wife died 2 years ago. I was complaining I was lonely. We was nice to each other. So we had a good time.
So is he an option for something more just like real?
He can be an option for something real. When I stopped by his house, he still had all of his wife's stuff like untouched and still everywhere. And I was just like, I'm not going to do that to him and put that type of pressure on him. So maybe he's not ready to really transition over to really date something serious.
Okay. Bring the phone up. I hear like it's crackling a little bit. So that's why you can't do nothing real with him.
No, I don't think he's ready. And I don't want to put this type of pressure on him in a sense of like, pack up your wife's shit. How do you say that to someone who wife? I know, so I don't want to say that, and I don't want to do that. So I'm like, you know what? It was nice, and when you're ready, call me when it's gone.
Call you when it's gone. Okay. Oh, okay. All right, Jenny. What are 3 flaws you have to work on?
Oh, 3 flaws. Okay. One of them is, Jesus Christ. If you want to go there with me in arguments, I would take it there. So I don't know how to walk away. Like, if you're like.
We already knew you were immature. We just didn't realize how immature. Because only a person that's really immature would say some shit like that, right? Only a person. I don't know how to stop arguing. Ain't no man gonna deal with that, girl. And you already one ex-baby mama. Somebody ex-wife. Because you wanted to argue and you wanted to be argumentative. How are you supposed to find another man and you still being argumentative? This is why you gonna have an issue with finding somebody, is because you don't know how to shut up and just take a win. When somebody wants to talk to you, you want to argue, fuss, and fight. Nobody want to come home, argue, fuss, and fight. Nobody. No female, no male. None.
Bitch, I'm like, yo, mama. And I
see, she ghetto ratchet. That's why she asked for ghetto ratchet. She asked for ghetto ratchet. She is ghetto ratchet. I don't know why her husband didn't know she wasn't ghetto ratchet.
No, I know. I'm working on that.
No, you not.
My second one is, if I could pull up my work schedule, I work 16 hours. I try to stack, I try to save, and I want to participate in my next relationship. So that can be a flaw, I guess. And then my last one is, I'm a little materialistic. A lot materialistic. Yeah. That can be a flaw.
Materialistic.
She sold that husband a bill of goods, and his dumb motherfucking ass thought she was white material. Okay? Now I'm seeing a lot of this shit. She was what she was. She was on that gold digger train. A motherfucker gonna take care of me, do what I want, do what I say. He gonna pay me. He gonna pay me to sit at home. I'm gonna take care of a kid. I'm gonna do the wifely thing. I'm gonna join the PTA. I'm gonna do all these things like a rich wife gonna do. The reality was fucked up because your man didn't make enough money. You were ghetto ratchet. You really didn't want that. You want to do you. You want to say whatever you want to say. You want to do whatever you want to do, how you want to do it. You want to work, make your own money because you don't want to be broke, and you want and like nice things. Now we're beginning to see the better picture of what the hell was going on. Two different people, two different headspaces. Maybe he was stingy. Maybe he was Neanderthal. Maybe he was one of the motherfuckers who didn't give you money. Maybe he was. But he sold you a bill of goods, and you damn sure sold him a bill of goods, because you sold him on the fact that you were traditional when you were a motherfucking lie. You a modern day woman. There's nothing wrong with modern day women. Don't get me wrong. Don't start that bullshit, you motherfucking Negroes out there talking about modern day shit. There's a lot of good modern day women who know how to balance modern and tradition, and then there's men out there who know how to balance modern and tradition. You two motherfuckers didn't know how to balance. She modern, he traditional, and never the twain shall meet. So get your motherfucking ass off here. Try it again. You wasn't wife material, not no traditional wife material. Stop trying to sell yourself as a traditional wife. Stop looking for motherfuckers who are traditional men, because you and him ain't gonna match. Now, you and Pookie might match, but Pookie ain't never gonna be traditional. So get your motherfucking ass off here.